Tom Buske, born and raised Apple Valley, Minnesota. My parents did an awesome job of just keeping everything just like right here for us. And all I wanted to do was play sports. Like my most vivid memories are just of my dad banging baseballs at me. He'd get home from work, he'd walk up to the field, and we'd be there until dark. Steve and I used to joke, and I would just throw jabs at him that I was more athletic. Like I have good hand-eye coordination, and I could throw the ball where I wanted. That was my strength. I could command the baseball. And he's just like physical. You know, he's strong, like runs through a brick wall. At his primal, he's the bull. From that standpoint, all of like the intricacies and the skills of baseball, I picked up really quick. We won state in 2002, and we came through the losers bracket. It was my first year on Legion, and back then it was Apple Valley and Eastview combined. One year we had 5 guys all in the mid-80s, mid-upper 80s. So it was like we were rolling out like you'd slide the windows back, you'd crank up, the boys are back in town, and you just like cruise into the parking lot of the tournament. And we'd play 55 games. I loved everything about that, and everyone did. You know, everyone that was on that team wanted to be on the team. They wanted to play baseball. You had to if you were on the team because you were doing it every day. And so at that point was really when I was like, okay, like I love the game. Like I want to play it at the highest level I can for the next 4 years. And so that really, I think, shaped me to my experiences, because that when I got to college was really when it was the first time I failed. And like I owe it all to Rob Fornsier for me being there, because he, for whatever reason, just believed every time he would come out, I would just do the exact same thing. Every single time he showed up, I would just be super consistent at like 83 to 86, and I'd just get people out. And it switched for me when I thought the lights went on. First ever collegiate at-bat, I threw a 3-2 hanging breaking ball and gave up a grand slam. First ever college at-bat. And Minnesota was really good about just like the mental side of life. They had a team sports psychologist that would come in, that he was accessible on an individual basis. I talked with him, and to be honest, like I don't even really remember like what we talked about. All I remember is I met with him a couple times, and it was just like a light bulb. I was like, okay, like I gotta stop thinking about who's in the box, like what their batting average is, what the team we're playing is ranked. Like I just have to go out there and just execute like I know how I can. Harvey being here, being the guy for our organization that provides that is extremely valuable to me personally, because I know that that's helped me. From there, our Friday night guy got hurt the weekend before Big Ten season started. And so I had a couple good outings before that, and so I went into the Friday night spot for him, and we just kept our Saturday, Sunday guys like on their rotation. And the rest of the year, I was the Friday night starter. Like once I got that spot, like I never looked back. And I was a starting pitcher for the last 2.5 years of my career there. And it was just every Friday night, I was towing the rubber. For the Gophers, it was great. I drafted like in 33rd round or something, like the 996th pick by, at the time, the Florida Marlin. So I went down there, I got red flagged in my physical. So like essentially a red flag means they're just not gonna sign you. So they didn't really have to give you a reason why, they just didn't sign me. So I came back home. At that time I was just kind of in the mindset like, I'm already in season. Like I'm just gonna ride this wave out until I can't. And so I played with the Saints, played in Australia, and then after that I just like shut it down. From there, like I really didn't know what I was gonna do, like professionally. Like I had an exercise science degree and a management minor. And I'm like, just like, okay, I'm gonna go work at this gym that I did an internship for. I see what that's like. There was a batting cage at the gym we were working at, and it was just right at the facility. And I created just this 10-week program, 2 times a week, and it was 4 players per coach. The whole like program was really pretty awesome. So the experience, like having multiple kids there, like interacting with them in that level was just way more beneficial, way more fun for the kids, for me, for everyone involved. And so I was like, okay, like this is what we have to do. Like this is how, like we have to set something up like this. But Steve called me like after I'd quit and was like, hey, I hear you're starting this baseball thing. And I'm like, okay, I haven't really told anybody about this. I don't know how you've heard about this. And he's like, well, cool, like I'm gonna go play I'm gonna go play indie ball. I don't think it's gonna go very well. And if I'm back in June, I wanna work with you. And I was like, all right. Literally like June 1st, Steve calls. Like, hey, I'm heading home. Like, that didn't last long. I knew that it was Steve that was gonna make this thing go with me. And we started, and it took off. By not even the end of the first off season, we were working literally 3 to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Like, we would just show up and just compete. And it was awesome. Like, him and I were side by side in the cage, like trying to outcoach one another and just being loud and just building a culture literally from day one. We were out to make sure that we, one, outcoached everybody, and that we created an atmosphere for our athletes that was unlike anything that they'd been a part of. And two, to treat people with utmost respect and make sure that we were providing a service for them, essentially. And so that was kind of our foundation, but we set those kind of standards from the beginning, and we just went. We wanted people to come to MASH for MASH. And now it's the same thing. Like, we don't want them to come just for Nate or just for Andy or just for Mike or Jake or Harvey or Tony. Like, we want people to come here because, like, together it's like better with everybody. You're coming to MASH, like, and the athletes feel that. Like, when you walk in the door, like, yeah, you might be hitting with Andy, but I guarantee you more than just Andy is saying hi to you. Like, more than just Steve is saying hi to you. Like, all the coaches know who you are. So that's why you come here. Like, it's not just to work with one coach. And, like, we're not necessarily different. Like, we're just better. Like, we're better at doing what we do. Like, we're better at coaching. Like, we're better at creating an atmosphere. And the reason that we're better is because everybody that's here all believes in what we're doing. And we believe in the impact and the influence that we're going to make, more so than just whether or not, like, you're gonna hit a ball 400 feet or throw 90 miles an hour. It's like the reality of things. Like, we had spring team tryouts. We invited 144 players to play on our teams, and 143 committed in 24 hours. Like, that wouldn't have happened year 1 or year 2 or year 3. That happens because over time, like, we earn that every single day with how we treat our clients and how we treat our players and how we go about our business every single day. It's consistency. Like, when people sign up to try out and people make a team, they know how they're going to be treated. They know what practice is going to be like. They know what their kids' experience is going to be like. And if they don't know, they try out because people are telling them, trust me, like, this is what you're going to get. And then when they show up, they get that, and hopefully they get that plus a little bit more than what they're expecting. And so that now becomes the standard that we have to chase. Like, every year we have to try and be a little bit better, because there are people that are 10 years old that might be with us when they're 18 years old. And so how are we going to continue to say, okay, like, this 10-year-old, he's 11, 12, 13, every year, like, okay, like, we want to continue to make those people feel special and make them feel like we're going above and beyond. And so, like, we need to continue to just kind of raise our standard in what we're doing.